activists. Take although outside we have some ambassadors who very bravely, sort of sided with the people, but they are not members of the council. So, and also another thing, this idea about America trying to re-steal Libyan oil and re-establish the wheel space. I mean, for God's sake, for the last 8 years, America had a very good relationship with Gaddafi. Gaddafi has given everything to America. I heard it from American diplomats that whatever we asked of Gaddafi for the last 8 years, he gave us. He was a partner in the war, in the so-called war against terrorism. So what else did America had oil, they had interest, they had oil companies having priority, they had everything with them.
Gamati,
So
Mr. Al-Gamati, let me let Francis Boyle respond here. Can I get a response from you?
Well, yeah, so I think Mr. Jalil, the Minister of Justice for Gaddafi, that speaks for itself. The Minister of Interior for Gaddafi, the secret police, he's running things too. I think that speaks for itself. Again, I'm not questioning I've been to Benghazi, I've lectured in Benghazi, and this is many years ago, but I'm not questioning the good faith of ordinary people in Benghazi who want democracy and freedom. But it seems to me this is being hijacked by the Gaddafi loyalists who want to stay in power. The Americans have never forgiven Gaddafi for controlling, taking back Libya's oil from the king, and that the Americans put in power and the U.S. oil companies have put in power. Second, the Zionists have never forgiven Gaddafi for the enormous support he has always given to the Palestinians. And right now, Zionists are in control of the Obama administration and the new U.S. news media. So this, as the neoconservatives here in the United States see, Libya has now become low-hanging fruit, that they can very easily go in there, depose Gaddafi, steal the Libyan oil, and control and dominate this oil, and reestablish a military base in the southern Mediterranean. When Israel exterminated 1,400 innocent Palestinians in Gaza, Obama did not say one word. I repeat, Obama did not say one word. Obama and his Zionists running his government could not care less about the Libyan people. And I think the Libyan people have to understand that whatever they decide to do from this point on time. All they want is your oil, and they're happy to put ex-Gaddafi people like Jalil and the Minister of Interior back in power, only this time, instead of redistributing that oil wealth to you, they will privatize all your oil fields and steal as much oil as possible, and they will continue a dictatorship.
Okay, so there's varying opinion on what the motivations are for the international community to get involved. But if I could take it to Andrew McGregor, if there is some kind of no-fly zone, is this considered military intervention, and how far could it go? How much help could they give the National Council or the rebel fighters in this case, and how much will that escalate the fight against Gaddafi? Will this be full-out war?
Well, we've seen in the past quite often that no-fly zones tend to be the first stage in a larger intervention. And we would probably have a very good case for that here in Libya. A lot of people think that no-fly zones simply involve sending some planes up and deterring other planes from flying. But in almost every case, and we've seen this in Serbia and Iraq in the past, the first stage of setting up a no-fly zone is attacks on the air defense facilities of the country over which the zone is being established. So right away you're starting with a kind of military intervention. From there it's a bit of a slippery slope towards further intervention. Once you're involved with a no-fly zone, you're basically committing to one side of the conflict. At that point, other options become available to nations like the United States or Great Britain that are interested in having a hand in the final solution here within Libya, particularly in the way of covert activities, supplying arms to the rebel forces, supplying intelligence information, results of surveillance. And also there's a possibility for nations like the United States to use their ties within the regime. Musa Kusa, the foreign minister in particular, is the longtime head of intelligence within Libya and has very extensive ties with the CIA in the United States. And it was kind of interesting to see his name was actually left off the sanctions list of individuals that was released the other day. So there's a wide variety of military and quasi-military covert and non-covert actions available to the United States and some of the European countries. I'm not sure that Great Britain will be eager to have a repeat of their last engagement, which was rather embarrassing with the capture of an SAS MI6 team that had failed apparently to establish contacts within eastern Libya before they landed there. Other nations with extensive ties to Libya, such as Italy, will be doing their best, in fact, to stay out of the conflict in all ways, largely because of their colonial history with the country. They have no interest in further involvement in that sense.
Now, Jumal Gamati, as Andrew McGregor is saying, that what this could lead to, a no-fly zone and perhaps international intervention, could actually lead to international firepower, possibly international fighters on the ground. How open are Libyans to getting this kind of help and this kind of backing, to have perhaps the rest of the world step on their soil to fight?
Well, overwhelmingly, the Libyans have said, and there is a very, very strong consensus is this, that we will never accept or allow military intervention inside Libya. We will never accept foreign troops coming on Libyan soil. The Interim Council has said that. Libyans on the streets of Benghazi and other towns have said that. Libyans in the diaspora have said that. We are very clear about that. And, you know, I'm not a fan of conspiracy theory or living in the era of anti-imperialism and Cold War, but at the same time, I'm not a fan of American foreign policy as well. What we have here is we have a dynamics that's evolving in Libya, a revolution that followed the Tunisian revolution and the Egyptian revolution, which is a symptomatic of a population that have been oppressed for over 4 decades, and they are very eager and aspiring to have freedom and democracy, and that's what's happening. So the local dynamics will determine and shape the future. Now, foreign countries, Libya doesn't live on a different planet. Libya lives in this planet, so it will have to have relations with the rest of the world, including European countries who are very close along the Mediterranean, including Britain and America, which have had relationship with Libya in the past. But all this business about, you know, it's interesting that your guest from America never even alluded to the massacres and the killings of children and women and the bombardment from the air of residential areas, what's happening and the massacres in Zawiya. You know, all they talk about is this imperialist plot to come and take Libyans' oil and reestablish, as if we are children. We don't know what's going on. We cannot take care of ourselves, as if Libya actually lacks the intellectual and the human resource that will determine to actually, as I